Okay. Whew. All right. So here we are at the very crux of Lionsgate. And we haven't done this in quite some time, where we
In
come
a minute.
together to channel what is present for those this is meant for, knowing that it will reach exactly who it's meant for. So, since we haven't done this in a while, maybe we should do a couple introductions. I am Michelle Michaela, and I channel um, from inside the Akashic Records and work as a multidimensional medium in lots of different ways. And we, I'll turn this over to you in a moment, have worked together for 4 years at least, sort of weaving together our uh, our channels where they help each other, meet each other, help others. And one of the places that we've really found in the last year is this sweet spot of divine union between the masculine and the feminine. And in service of that, knowing that this is what is and feels like the wound of the planet, this separation. And one of the things that you, Lavonne, I'll have you take over here in a moment, have helped me with is really delving into the insights and the narrative and the beliefs of the masculine inside of romantic relationships. And the way that that's helped me is giving me clarity and insight for me personally when I can't quite name, even being and having the abilities that I do when it's in my own situation. It can be hard to go, what's going on there? Because what's in the field and what I feel is different than the conversations that are actually being had. And so one of the ways in which you've been extraordinary is as a psychic medium that you can connect in and talk directly to another if they're on the planet, if they're not on the planet, if they were here and they're gone now. But that's been extraordinary for me and us doing sessions together for how you can tap in and I can say, this is what's happening. I think, like, I don't know where to go from here. And the insights. And so through you, over the past few years, I've been able to have some extraordinary soul to soul conversations with my then partner, who's since left the planet, um, getting clarity and wisdom and healing from within inside a session that immediately, when we would be done with the session, I could see the unfolding change that had taken inside of the session already be present in the outer world. So one of the things I want to talk about today is how you do this. And wow, wow, wow. It's almost like the greatest gift most people would want is, what is he thinking? What is going on in his head? Well, Lavonne can tell you. And wow, is it amazing? And then the combination of that with, well, being inside of the Akashic Records is you saying, well, he's saying this, but your team, your oversoul is saying, now what are you going to do with where he's actually at? Are you going to use it in a way that's got old energy, or are you going to take that and you're going to decide something different? Or is it something in the middle? Is it something between? So it's not just that you're the medium. It's not that you're just the conduit saying, tell me what's going on, and then I can act accordingly and go move things around in the outer world to try to control it. It's so that you have more understanding, more wisdom to engage with of who you want to be in the relationship, out of the relationship, with self, with other, all of it. So, okay, first tell us a little bit about you, and then tell us about how you do this.
Okay, well, thanks for that. My name is Lavonne, and I have been doing this for, I don't know, I first started channeling in like fall of 2020. And it's been a bit of a ride. I sometimes call myself the reluctant channel because it's something that comes through me. But I haven't always been comfortable with these gifts. And so something that you've really offered me, Michelle, in working with you, first as your client, because you were my coach and really helping me to get more comfortable with it, but also just in these conversations that we've had in the past year or more, with respect to your relationship, is where I even recognize this gift, that we both recognize this gift, where um, just like doing a reading for anyone else, any other client, and I'd be in their records and I having a conversation with them, like their 5D selves standing beside me. And then what started happening was that I would notice that their partner would come in who was very much alive too. So just like, you would be there beside me and I'm speaking to your 5D self and or your higher self. And then, he would show up too. And what was very interesting about it was that I would be able to connect with him almost like the translator.
Yes.
It felt very much like the translator where, he'd be speaking to me and I'm telling you what he's saying. And that also then his team consisting of his angels and guides and his higher self, his ancestors are also telling me information, kind of deciphering what he's trying to say, which then I'm telling you, your 5D self, but also telling you, and your team is giving guidance too about what that means. And it's been really exciting, to see how it's all unfolded. And I've been grateful for the feedback I received from you too, when you say, oh my gosh, this is what we discussed. And then, within a couple of days, just seeing the transformation in your actual relationship, the 3D relationship. So yeah, that's been a real gift.
And it was extraordinary to me how I don't even think I told you his last name. You didn't see a photo. You didn't see anything. You would describe him. You would start communicating in words and verbiage he would use. I was just astounded of the clarity of, my goodness, you are. It was extraordinary. And now, there's this other added beauty here, which is he has since left the planet based on a very quick terminal illness. And the bridge of still it being the same, that you're able to bring us together in that way to continue that conversation. And in this extraordinary aspect, allow the relationship to carry forward from different realms is also a beautiful gift.
Yeah, and I'm grateful to both of you for even inviting me to be a part of your relationship, right? As your relationship translator.
Yeah.
And also seeing the transformation even with him, right? Now that he's transitioned. But where there's still that resonance of who he was when he was in physical form, where, I can still identify him. So as you said, I had his first name and I usually just go by the first name, but I sent someone coming in and I don't see like a clear to say this is exactly what this person looks like. I have a sense of someone stepped in and I feel it's more their energy. So I'm in like their field. And so as you said, I would hear him saying things or he'd kind of almost speak through me and I start saying things that he says. And I would say to you, hey, I do not speak like that, right? Like that's not me. And you'd say like that, you got the right guy.
Right. And the extraordinary component, again, of bringing that together with my team, my oversoul, the ascended masters I work with, who are saying, now, hold on a second. He's saying X, this is where he's at. Are you sure that's where you're at? And are you available for that work he still has to do? If that's not work you still have to do. So the constant really honing in on the soul contract of what was present, what was available, what was there for the soul growth versus just creating union at whatever cost, if it wasn't actually what was in the highest alignment for the soul. And that's part of why we've come together today, is to really talk about what's happening on the planet and channeling for the collective. How are we meant to find the divine union both within and without, within self first, so that we can create these coherent relationships where there's safety and sovereignty for everyone, where we feel seen, held, whatever it is we are desiring, without moving more out of those separation consciousness of somebody wins, somebody loses, somebody gets their way, somebody doesn't. The power dynamics versus what can now be around union. So I know that we've each opened our own Akashic records so that we can channel and bring what's coming through. So do you want to see what you feel?
Yeah. So as soon as I started opening my record, so how it sort of works for me when I'm doing a reading in a session. As soon as I start saying the prayer to open the records, I get an image, it kind of just drops in. And so that's my starting point. And so the image that I received as soon as I started opening my records was just this image of the angels around, like very much, it feels like a celebration. I can see them with their horns. It's like that Archangel Gabriel type of feeling. It feels like a celebration, but also like there is a message, because Gabriel is like the messenger. So I'm just asking now my team for what is it that's present here now? What is it that we are meant to share with the collective for this Lionsgate August 8th, 8/8, bringing us together? Why was it that they wanted Michelle and I to come together? Why did we get this message that we're supposed to come together? And what I'm receiving is that what is happening right now on the planet, it is a lot of shifting energies. I can see it almost like, if you can see plates, like almost like how it'd be for like an earthquake, like how they just kind of like those plates kind of moving, shifting. And what I'm getting is that the foundation, the energetic foundation on the planet, that it is shifting and we're going through a period of transformation. And why we are coming together today to talk about divine union is because we have been separate from the divine feminine, and the divine masculine have been separate and very much out of sync. And we have been sort of missing that other piece of ourselves. So in the work that we are doing and that we have been doing with each other and with our clients, it's about bringing the divine masculine and the divine feminine into union in a way that removes that power struggle, removes that feeling of an imbalance where in order for one to see the benefits, the other must suffer, and vice versa, where it is one taking from the other in order to feel that they are empowered. And so this is a turning point where we are coming into right balance within ourselves. And so the divine union that we are speaking about is, for the most part, on the individual level, for what happens with one, what changes that happen with one ripples and is felt within the collective. And as we are able to bring, to achieve divine union within ourselves, we are able to impact our relationships, impact the people that we are in community with, that we work with, that we live with, that we love on a daily basis. And that is felt, that impact is rippling out and is felt a lot further out than we can even imagine. And so they are saying, my team saying, rather than thinking of this as like a huge, big global scale, although that is something that's happening, they want to bring it to the more personal, in a way that we could each connect and feel it in a real way. And so the energies that are streaming into each of us that are hearing these messages right now, receiving these messages right now, are helping to support us during this transformation. And if you have questions or you're struggling about the dynamics within your relationships with your partner, that this is an opportunity to begin to work on the personal, on the individual level, on the self, and to really bring that balance within yourself. Because as you do that internal work, as you are really following the guidance that you are receiving from your team, then you are able to feel the impact in your relationship. So rather than having, okay, let me try to fix this man or, my partner, whoever, we're saying man, but, it's your partner, whoever that may be. Rather than trying to fix your partner in relationship, a lot of the work happens when you heal on the inside. And so even in the work that we have done, Michelle, as you said, yes, your partner would show up and we're having that dialogue with him. However, the guidance that you're receiving was really for you, right? About how do you respond? How do you learn the lessons from this, rather than trying to get him to change, or rather than being willing to accept whatever it is that he is saying? Your team would always say, okay, now that you have received that, it was almost like, then what? You now have the tools, you have done the work. And so you've been able to see even the growth within yourself as the learning, the tools that you have been gaining and picking up throughout the years, how you've been able to put those into action in the most personal experiences, which is, with your partner in your love relationship. It's really been an opportunity for you to almost test the muscles that you've been building up, and really see how certain things that would have been a trigger, or how you would have reacted in the past, how much growth that you have shown, how far you have come, how you have even almost, it's this rebirth, this new version of you, these new versions of you that are constantly being reborn and that are being revealed really through your relationship. And if your relationship is your mirror, right, that's how we learn a lot. We learn a lot of our lessons through a relationship. And your team is there to really guide you and to let you know about, okay, this is what is being revealed through this relationship, and this is how I can respond. This is what I have to offer, and I am no longer going to be pulled down and lessened and kind of lowered to that level. My vibration, I'm being pulled up to this level, and now it's up to him. He has that choice. He has that free will. Is he going to meet me here? So it's really about first within, and the work that's done on the personal, the growth that's accomplished there, and how that is reflected in your relationship.
Nice. Yes. I'm going to do a little bit of light language just to come back into my records and out of that middle space between us.
Yeah.
Okay. So in doing that, I see the image I'm seeing is actually pretty extraordinary around there's like a campfire, and there's thousands of women that are sitting at this campfire, and it's actually referencing the thousands of women that I've done sessions with in the past few years. And as I'm looking out at this campfire, I'm seeing each of these individuals, how they have evolved over the last few years, even if to them it does not seem as they have, that there is a deep shift and a softening and an opening that has been taking place since like 2021 until now. And they're referencing the 2021 as like the moment we all got to kind of reorient a little bit. And that it may seem to us, they're referencing the feminine right now, that things are slow, but we have started to really turn inward, that there was this outer world. Hold on a second, let me ask this a little differently. Okay. We used to have more attention outward on like, why is the relationship not as I wanted? Why is the person that I want not coming forward? Why can I not find the right type of relationship? It was attention outward, attention outward, attention outward. And that we have spent so many lifetimes focused attention outward on how can we serve the masculine, because these were the original agreements of the patriarchy, right? We will serve, they will take care of us. There will be these agreements of how this is meant to go. And it's almost at a cellular level. And now we are coming back to writing the divine union, but from within. This is pre-patriarchy, right? This is us being able to come back to some of those original blueprints and original codes that creates a unity within, which in turn can create the unity consciousness, which is when we have it within, we have it without, we have it among us all. But that the way that this comes through is not by our attention outward. It is by the attention inward, which is what is the divine feminine, divine masculine in balance from within. And so when they're showing these clients, they're showing that there had to be a cellular turnover that they went into their hearts. Looks like by coming for sessions, they're like, okay, there's something here that I want, that I need. And they're focusing inward, even if it's for an hour, on what they're here for, not those they're in service to, the job, the partner, the children, the family, the collective, whatever it is, that there was a turning inward, that there was a reappointing back to that they came, the soul came for something in this existence. And what was that? And how many have agreed to come this time around in service of that divine union? And that in the course of the decades before now, what afforded us to turn inward was that we were not getting the divine union outward, that we were having relationships that were not serving us or deeply out of alignment, some even emotionally, psychologically, physically dangerous. Whatever this was, this disrupt, this dissatisfaction, this missing each other like those tectonic plates, afforded us this moment now where we did turn inward and say, I can't control anymore. And I can't sit here with my arms crossed hoping something will be different. And I can't wait till the next life. I got to do something. So the turning inward was a new choice point. As we're seeing this bifurcation happening of people doubling down on what they used to do, or people scrapping everything and surrendering and saying, all right, I'm going to do something radically different as a new page in this book. And so the surrender of, I don't know, everything I tried before didn't work, and the brain is certainly not coming up with solutions that are feasible. So I'm going to just let it all go. I'm going to surrender and move forward. And that there's a shift happening collectively where, again, they're referencing women right now, or the feminine role, that they're starting to see that what they endured is an initiatory process. Isn't just look what happened to me and let's stay in the look what happened and the density of that it's now shifting and evolving into that stuff. I did all that. I'm fine. Like it's really seeing where we are now, like you said, right? So there's this quickening that's happening where, because we are referencing more of the internal, more of, hold on, more of ourselves for that balance, we are seeing some lightness coming in, some excitement coming in, rather than this density of how broken these two genders or groups are, that we're starting to go, what if all of this was so that we could find first the union within and then the ripples out from that get created? The next piece that they're referencing is this notion that the feminine often is so used to putting so much out in order to be chosen. And that level of putting out, because the universe will always bring neutrality, everything back to the 0 point field, the more we put out, the more there is often a pushing away from the pendulum swing in the other direction, that amount of energy and codes and love and admiration towards the masculine feels like an overfeeding, and that can feel very dangerous. And then you get this, that now there's this newness of when there's balance within, and let's say there's balance within the masculine, now there's a meeting each other side by side, walking forward, loving love, rather than putting everything into each other in the old ways. And so when we find that balance, or more of it, from within, and we meet as this invitation in the middle, when another meets there but can't hold the frequency, we stop taking it personally. It can be disappointing, but the unraveling of this one not being able to hold that stops being about us not being chosen. And it can have its own grace and honoring of, this worked for a bit and then it just wasn't in alignment anymore, and that is okay. The referencing of the surrender, they're saying they want me to speak to the surrender, that the old notion of surrender was just give up. Surrender meant I surrender into death. I surrender that I lose the war. Rather than the surrender is now just a letting go and a soft focus, because what's actually here for us what's actually available to us is so much richer, so much bigger, so much more glorious than what we were holding on to. I have a client and a dear friend who we spent a lot of time in working together on using law of assumption, using a lot to really get something for her that she deeply desired. And she got it. She did it. This woman can create anything she wants on this planet. And then down the road, there became enough of a niggle in her that was like, what if my engineering of that isn't even as good as something could be? And so, with her, as well as with others, I'm seeing this glorious evolution of almost this excitement of like, what if I let go of that thing that I've efforted so hard to get? What might be available to me if I give it more space and watch it become nothing or something bigger than I thought? And so now I'm seeing something so much more extraordinarily, something happen beyond the overly manifest exactly what you want down to the detail, and something so much more amazing come in by saying, what if I get to just be in the desire and the receiving from that divine feminine? What if I get to move all of that energy out of the crafting and curating and into what do the cells want? What am I allowed to have? What's my divine birthright? And focusing inward on that coherence and then watching the outer world play with you and go, here you go. And the stories that I'm hearing from clients, they're like, I just walked down the street and there he was. And we both knew, there you are. Oh, there you are. Or these instantaneous things where it is so clear so early on, this is it. And I don't have to work hard and I don't have to get it right. And I don't have to campaign and I don't have to craft texts to make sure they're just right. There's like these recognition of these souls as they walk through the earth because of this coherence of the divine union within, which is different, very much so, than these environments where many people are looking for partners.
Seeking.
The mating marketplace.
Yeah.
Where the rules of engagement are you chosen? Right?
Where the apps are traps.
Yeah, and I'm not saying people aren't found there. I've certainly had some lovely, beautiful connections from that place, but they don't feel quite like the sparkliness of what I'm seeing now in the last few years with clients of when they really came into their own divine masculine counterpart, divine feminine, all together.
Mm-hmm.
They then just send out this resonance of union out into the world, and then it just mirrors as everything does. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing this play come into being now that I hadn't felt in a long while among others, myself. Everything felt very efforty and hard, and now it feels like we're getting these containers a little bit bigger so that we can find that space for the yummy, the delicious, the juicy. Mm-hmm. We're creating our own mirrors of who we think we are rather than waiting for somebody to show up who's going to project or reflect a mirror that feels resonant. We just look everywhere. We are it. We don't have to wait for the other human to find the truth of who we are. And that feels like we just won the lottery just with that alone. That resonance, like, oh my God, I've been here the whole time. Are you serious? And then we do get to celebrate it with others. This isn't like, oh, we have to just be alone and hope for the best in the next life. No, it's right now. This Eden, this new earth, this new Lemuria, it really is here and it's everywhere. And it's choices we're making every day. Are we going to be in the old and watching it unravel? Or are we going to turn to this new and this like, oh, how good are we willing to have it? There's so much energy. I'm like, okay, I got to bring this spiral is down.
There is. So, yeah, I'm just going to take a moment just to send some energies to just like, work on everyone's heart center, because I can feel just, all that's happening there as these messages are being received by everyone. And then some energies, because I can still feel like that question of like, but what if that's what I still want and I'm still
Right.
looking for
Yes,
it?
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
So just closing our eyes for a moment just to feel the energies. So there's around that question of like, but what if that's still what I want? And I'm still, I'm still looking for the one, right?
Yeah.
And and there's it might not be what people want to hear, but the reality is that, what you're seeking is already within you, or it's who you are becoming. And so what you're really seeking is yourself, because as you're saying, Michelle, that once you get to that place of where there isn't that imbalance, where there is alignment within, that's when that resonance is just out there drawing in that the one for you, drawing in that match for you with ease, without efforting, right? And so there is this message about really that need to turn inward. And it does not have to be something that's done with much efforting. It does not even have to be something that is taking up all of your time, but with just having that, setting that intention that what you want to do is to really come into alignment with yourself, is to really have that balance between the divine masculine, the divine feminine within, that divine union within. And it's just that each moment that you have that intention, it just connects to the next, and then connects to another, and connects to the next, until you find more moments where you're really into that alignment, where you have more moments of being in balance, where it becomes almost second nature, where you come back to this place. And what I'm getting is this message that there very much is that divine support for this, that it's not something that you have to go at alone, not something that you have to force. It is something that once you set this intention, then, and you ask for help, your team is there to support you. It is how thousands of women have been able to find you, Michelle, to really be their guide, to be their teacher, to be someone who is supporting them as they come into union with themselves. And likewise, there are other people within each person's community that can provide them with that support, that could provide them with that guidance. And right now, what is being asked is really to, okay, to just ask me to just like send out some energies to all the questions that are coming in that I can like kind of pick up on. This question that I'm getting about, well, what if I'm not enough? Or what is it? What if I'm not going to get it right? And that's a question that's out there in the collective. What if I'm not enough? What if I'm not worthy of this? What if I'm not worthy of this love? And so I'm just going to bring in some energies to help to heal that, bring in some light around that wound, that deep wound that is within each of us. And now the archangels are stepping forward. So Michael's here, Metatron, Gabriel, Uriel too. Holding each one of you in this energy, in this light. There's putting an energetic hand on your heart, and there's just this being repeated: you are enough, you are loved, you are enough, you are worthy, you are enough. Shh. So Michelle, in a session, if you're working with a client and this sort of question comes up, or quite often it's not even vocalized, but
Yeah.
there's a sense of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. How would you how do you address that? What has been your experience with your clients?
So what I've seen in the last, I'd say 6, 8 months is women are coming in the word unworthiness. This is coming up a lot. I have a lot of unworthiness. I have a lot of um, past relationship trauma. I have
Mhm.
this density or these thoughts or notions about myself. I can still hear my ex's voice in my head of things he used to say about me, and I feel like I'm carrying them still with me. And a couple things come up. One is that there's not often a proper conscious decoupling that takes place when relationships end.
Right.
We don't have a ceremonial burn. We walk away, and whatever happened in the outer world, but the soul or the heart often doesn't have the alchemical closure if the relationship didn't end in a way that they found served them. So,
Mhm.
one of the things we do in sessions is we create those closures. We create a dissolution of the soul contract. If it was karmic, we complete in the inner world often. I use hypnosis a lot for that to bring to closure and completion what didn't happen in the outer world. And then we let that energy come to its closure, pulling apart almost what looks like this root ball of the energies entangled. And that sort of rewrites the two beings now in separation, even if there's someone you're still co-parenting with. It changes a lot. So I do that both one-on-one in a session, and then I now there's an offering that I offer that you can just go buy the version to do on your own, the offering of it. It's called the Velvet Exorcism. X with the
I love that.
EX for your X. And it's pretty extraordinary. It's a combination of a lot of different uh, modalities put together that's really separates out that energy and closes those karmic loops.
Mhm.
Um, on a on the collective transmission or communication, what I've seen in the records is that the idea of unworthy, that worthy is coming from something you earned, and that alone is stemming from separation consciousness. That there's nothing to get or have when everything is already yours and already within, that it's our divine birthright just because we exist, not because we got it right or became worthy of something. So they're saying not only to dissolve this notion of unworthy, but to dissolve the notion of worthy and to just
Wow.
move into it is our divine birthright to have what we need and what we want and to be of love. Love is a frequency that we can be in and of. It does not take a partner to be entirely in the container of the frequency and the gifts of love. It's lovely to have it, but it doesn't take another to be in that resonance. It is a frequency that is ours inherently. And there's just been a lot of
Birthright.
fog and mirrors and things in the way that have said otherwise, but it's already ours. We just need to break apart this uh, other scaffolding that has told us otherwise to find what's already there. So when they reference what you're looking is within you, it's not just a party line. It's no, really, it's there, but it's been covered up often from this self-preservation or this giving everything away.
Mhm.
One or the other is often the case instead of this coherence in the middle of come meet me here in this field.
Mhm.
Play,
Mhm.
let's be of love together, not for the other, but with the other, hand in hand, side by side, in whatever is available for that now moment. Because that's the presence is it is yours again and again and again. It's right here if you know how to get to that resonance of us, which takes separating from the mind and what we believe is going on here. And so often what needs to happen is just a new way of seeing a different vantage point or reframing what appears to be happening.
Mhm.
And that allows people to have a greater access to that. Oh, there it is, that feeling, that sense, this energy swirling around me. I sometimes reference them as they're like pearls, and we get to string them together. And that creates more and more and more of them because you're dropping into the
Yeah.
field of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little bit of light language just to bring this in a little bit, anchor it down into the cells a little bit more. There's this infinity symbol that I'm seeing everywhere right now. And I'm sure it's probably because of that. Well, I work a lot with Metatron, but the Lionsgate and the eights and the like just weaving out of one side and into the other, and that how that alone is the divine union.
Mm.
You know, the left side,
That's beautiful. Yeah, I
left
see that.
side,
I
right
see that
side.
now.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, I'm just gonna, yeah.
Shh.
All right, it feels like it's starting to come down into the integration.
Yeah.
One of the
And
things
so,
that I wanted to talk about that I'm personally loving on this planet is how there are humans that can connect us to a greater understanding than we necessarily can get to
mm,
ourselves. I can do this for a lot of people. I can't do it as much for myself. That's why I'm like, look, oh
same.
me. I can't see anything. These blind spots are everywhere, you know? And
Yeah.
this beauty that, yes, we are connecting into these higher aspects, these other realms, these galactic races for help, whatever it is. But I love that they are still coming by way quite often, as it's meant to be human to human to human.
Mm, yeah.
And that to me is deep presence of us choosing being humans on earth, right? We can be the conduits, we can go up, we can go around, but this of another human walking you back to self or saying, oh, there you are, I can see you, can't you see? You're like, I can't see me. You're like, you're right there, right? It's beautiful and it's amazing.
Yeah. It's like, take my hand. I got you.
Yes. And even when some of us have been hesitant or reluctant or said, are you sure? Are you sure you're really there for me? Are you going to drop me? Are you going to turn on me? Are you going to
Yeah.
whatever? Because this is what I'm remembering from other lifetimes. It's like, no, but we'll sit here and wait. If you want to reflect that I might, it's okay. We can slow down until you feel
Yeah.
safe enough to move forward.
Absolutely. And I feel like that is the gift that you offer your clients too. You know, that's who you've been for me. And like you said, as much as I can go into my records and get certain information for me, it's just certain things that are a little too close
Absolutely.
that I have blinders on, or I am holding on so tightly to a particular outcome.
Right.
And so you have been that guiding light for me to uh, help me navigate certain things that I don't, I have a different perspective on. You bring a different perspective to that. And all of it, it's really been about, as we've been talking about, really within me. It's all about within, you know. It might, the issue might arise through a relationship, right? It might seem like, oh, that's what it was. That's the problem, or that's the concern, or I have questions about that. And inevitably, where it brings us to is back to ourselves.
Right.
And so I'm really grateful to you for just the evolution that I've been able to experience in the time that I've been working with you. And I have so much gratitude for that.
Mm, thank you. I love that you used to be the reluctant channel and now you don't get to be that anymore. And this idea, you know, everything we've been talking about from within, all these, yes, and I think it can be valuable to if there's this ability to get a greater sense of what's going on inside of a container or non-container, whatever it is, the clarity that you bring, it's changed my life. And yeah, I just love that we have new ways
Yeah.
of becoming who we're meant, allowed, want, desired to be through new channels beyond some of the more traditional methods of healing that took years, take years, don't work, do work, make things worse, whatever, right? It just feels exciting that there's a lot of newness right now
Yeah.
of timelines collapsing and abilities collapsing, things that used to even take you and I years to figure out. I'm watching clients bring them into their bodies as activations inside of weeks now, where that's fascinating to me and
Wow.
amazing. It's like these things are so quick right now.
So
Sometimes,
speeding
yeah,
up. Yeah.
sometimes that
Quickening.
quickening can feel like a shock to the system when things drop in and come out so fast. But I think it's kind of the new norm of where we're at now is things are just really going to stay pretty fast, and giving people new tools or, I mean, we're all sovereign beings. You and I are like, we're just here to communicate what your team is saying. You can take it or leave it. We're fine either way.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
teaching. We're just reminding you the parts of you that maybe forgot. Like, we're not here to be like, this is what you got to do. We're just like, perhaps you could consider this. You get to do what you want with it.
Right. There's still free will. Yeah.
Yeah. And any way people want to get to where they're going, they get to. Well, I am personally quite happy for 8/8 to be here tomorrow.
I'm excited for 8/8.
And
As
I
I
feel
said,
like
as
this
I told you,
portal.
I'm a 888 in numerology. I'm
Oh,
all eights, So yeah, this is
yeah.
exciting. The energy is just, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying about the portal.
Just this
portal.
one sent this year. It's, I think it opened on 7/26. It's been so intense. It's been pretty big. And I'm lately walking around with my jaw dropped of like, does this really just happen? I think it did. Like so much,
Can't
so
believe
much
it.
stuff. Not in both in all directions, not just one direction of something negative. I mean, just everything feels so powerful right now. And yeah. So for anyone who's like, what's happening? It's like, okay, well, this particular portal, this particular set of time is really intense. And we get to kind of just find our way with it, and we get to do it together. So I'm going to do a little bit of light language to sort of close out the container before we complete it. Okay, close. All right. Closing this, coming back into this realm, back into our bodies, back into our neutral space. Thank you. I'm so excited that we get to do this. All right. And happy 8/8.
Happy 8/8 and blessings for Lionsgate.
All right. Okay.
Much love and light.
Bye for now.